Drop the beat. Drop
Cheers, guys.
Saludes.
Saludes.
Wait.
Saludes. Don't chug it, though. That's all that we have.
It's okay. We gotta make it last the whole episode.
So welcome everyone to the House of Vibe podcast. We are happy to bring back for the second time Kid Loki and Yanni Acropolis. What's up?
What's going on?
Yeah. Shout out to House of I and the old school shirt I made for one of the biggest shows that you guys had. Was it the Battle of the Bands that we made these?
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, I remember making them with Shay during one of the practices up on the rooftop.
That was an epic time.
Yeah.
I miss those times.
Oh my gosh. The other day I was just thinking about, because we wanted to leave the house and just do something, and I was like, I want to watch the sunset. And they were thinking about places to go and watch the sunset, and then what popped into my mind was I wanted to go to the Arepas place that we always go to, and it's right next to the University of South Florida, or, USF.
But I wanted to go to Burger King.
Yeah, so we ended up going to Burger King. However, I was going to go to the Arepas place and then just drive up to the top of the freaking parking garage and just chill. Watch the sunset.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the last time that I've been up there was with you when we were doing that thing for a little bit.
Yeah. When we had with you and Andrew.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Good times.
Fucking Andrew. But
wherever he is.
We miss you.
North Carolina, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I miss that fucking guy.
Yeah.
But so since the last time that we had you guys on, a lot has changed.
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to have you guys come on here and talk about that change and talk about it.
It's almost been a full year since we've been living here with you guys in our own little tiny house. We have a cat now named Gilbert. Yeah, she's pretty cool. She plays fetch. She wakes us up with her favorite toy, which is like a shoestring, and she just throws it on our face. And then just like...
Wake up.
Yeah, for real. Like, throw it.
I dare you.
Yeah.
I dare you.
I stopped working at Racetrack gas station, and I started working at Hooch and Hive in West Tampa, which it's ran by the people who did the day-to-days at Czar. And we actually moved our show RLC there, Red Light Cafe. We kind of got an opening lineup for the past 4 months, and then I think in May we're going to renew another 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the Hooch and Hive.
At Hooch and Hive to keep a residency there, and Laura's going to start playing Fridays there on her own.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm going to start doing the happy hour, slot.
It'll be like her and a guest.
Yeah.
And they each do 2 hours.
Yes, it's going to be dope.
That's pretty awesome.
It's going to be nice.
Yeah, because before you guys were doing the one day a week at I don't know if you want to mention their name.
It was at the Bunker. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that venue because it's small enough to feel like it's someone's house. It's almost like how Sacred Grounds was. Like Sacred Grounds had like that homey feel to it, but at the Bunker, like you can get coffee and like the delicious desserts that are there. Like they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to all the people that bake out there.
Yeah, and we still outsource a lot of our volume to the Bunker.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like if people approach us that want to perform, but we might not have a slot for them, or they might not fit our format.
Yeah.
We usually offer them the Bunker as the first suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a good relationship with them still. We love the crew there. It's still where we got our start, where we met, where we started working together, and where we kind of
branched out from there. We just got kind of like big for it. Like we just needed to expand more, and like pretty much our goal now is just to branch out and pretty much join all the music communities like what we have, because we can offer like a lot. Like our show, we can have like a solo acoustic act opener, a duet that raps, and then for the closer could be like a rock band, a full band, and like that could just be the one night, and that accommodates like a whole bunch of other people. So that's mixing up the whole entire scene for that night. Maybe people can network as well with each other. Like they'll be like, oh man, I like that song that you played, like I would really like to use that hook in like one of my songs. That could be a rapper or a rap artist who like either does production or something, he'd be like, I want to sample that. When can we meet up? Like, that's a connection made.
Yeah.
You know, in that night. So nothing went out. Nothing got lost in that night.
And
you know?
the network we travel in has basically been like kind of a makeshift like production company, or like almost like a talent agency that like we have kind of an index that tells you where you can go, and we have all these travelers that need destinations and coordinates, so we give them those places, and a lot of times we play with them in the scenario. Sometimes we just say, hey, try, you know, approach this guy and see what he says, and maybe you can book something there. Other times it's like, hey, we'll set it up and we'll open for you,
or we'll find acts to open for you that fit the sound that you have. So
and we're gonna legitimize that more and more,
yeah,
and just like polish that more and more. And I don't want us to like have like a Life with Mikey type talent agency, but like I do like the idea of like having a coalition of people that you work with, that like you're very tight knit. You always add more people, but there's almost like a hierarchy or ladder of that people, and it's kind of something that's necessary in a functioning scene.
Do you mean like in terms of the open mics, like you want to, I guess, progress into maybe booking like maybe like Friday, Saturdays there? Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
Well, in St. Pete, we actually moved our act to second Saturday, which is a big day in St. Pete. It's second Saturday is usually where all the art shows are.
I'm actually playing in this month's second Saturday, thanks to Emily from Last U.
Oh, really? Where we're at?
I don't know exactly where. I'm still getting all the details fixed out, but I think for April 13th.
Okay.
That's the date. I think it's a Saturday or Sunday. I think it's a Saturday.
Yeah, it's Saturday,
yeah, Saturday. But yeah, she asked me to play, so I'm gonna do that.
Nice, man.
Yes.
Oh, I think is it for Emily's thing? Yeah, Creative Clay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She just said that, dude.
Yeah. I thought she was on the
yes.
same bill as Emily, not necessarily.
No. She
okay.
reached out to me because when she had posted that status on Facebook, like, you know, that she was interested in doing that. I was like, yeah, you know, hit me up anytime. So
I
she
think I
hit me up.
remember that actually.
Yeah, that was actually really fun too, because it's in like the place that she works, where it's for, I believe it's for children with autism and I think disabilities as well, and they can do art there. It's pretty.
That's awesome.
And
cool,
then they display it and sell it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. My friend Francisco, you guys met Francisco, or Popo, which I call him. His wife, she actually runs this thing called Draw Challenge, I believe. But she hosts it in Orlando, and it's pretty much for I think young kids who are either homeless or low poverty income. They go and they draw or they make art, depending on, you know, whether it's a feeling, an emotion, or an experience. They just make art, and then they express themselves through that. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I want to get into like the nitty gritty of like running the show and whatnot.
All right.
For someone that might not really know exactly like the process of running, I guess, really, like you said, like a talent agency, or like a booking agency, really, is what I would say.
A booking agency or a production company.
Yeah. Boom. And because you guys are doing more than just at the Hooch and Hive now too, right? You guys are doing the what was it, the Green Light?
Green Light in St. Pete.
Green Light in St. Pete. It's called Red Light at Green Light, which is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
So we had hosted Terrapin had come onto the show before, Nick. He hosts the Tuesday open mics there, and then he would ask Yanni to, you know, fill in for him when he couldn't make it. So me and Yanni would go to St. Pete and we would host it, and then the guy who books the shows there, Craig Adams, he's one of Yanni's, like, it's almost like 6 degrees. Yeah, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but it's 6 degrees to Yanni. And, like, he knows one of Yanni's friends. 3 degrees to Yanni. Oh, God. God. Anyways, he knows one of Yanni's friends, and he had just asked us, because both of us had performed that night, and he was like, hey, you guys do anything? And we told him about RLC, Red Light Cafe, and then he was like, oh, well, we'd be interested in booking you every 2 months. So this month, or last month in March, was our first month there. We have one again in May, right?
April. Wait. May, June. June is after May.
Yeah, there we go.
June is after May.
Time is an illusion.
Anyways, but no, what we had in mind for that show, like red light, green light, and I put like the advertisement was like a stop sign, but we were thinking about maybe having people who have loop pedals.
And machines, like they have sequencers or a drum machine, things that have red lights and green lights for like playing and stopping and recording.
Yeah,
that's
was cool.
That was a concept idea.
That's pretty tight.
The people that played that show was him. He used his iPad that he put all the beats onto, and then we had Gordon Salone, and his project is called Grandeur and the Delusions, and he just plays on a loop pedal, and it's very like ethereal, like slow, like
Kind of like a raga meditation type of delay on the guitars, and it's just layers of very minimal guitar. And then he says, when I was 17, I was in a fist fight with the sun.
Oh, God.
And the sun looked back and said, you hit like a bitch.
Yeah, stories like that. It's like poetic.
It's very
like folk story, like folklore type stories.
Yeah, it's so he's saying that while the music is happening behind.
Right, and it's not always. I'm not saying he's like that salty on the mic. I'm just saying like he has these very like deep thoughts type moments, and they're very meditative, and he has these very profound moments that he's describing to you. And like he can get very almost non-objective with how far he goes with describing it, and then the song is over, and it's been 8 minutes, and you were just like dreaming about whatever he's talking
Is
about.
that one of his
it's
stories?
very dreamy. Yeah.
Really?
Well, no, he has one that he says like he ate the sun or he inherited the moon or something like that.
He
They have
asked
a lot
the old
of
man
nature.
old man was like, "Hey, I know a way to get the moon, but you have to answer these 3 questions." And so the first question is like, why do you want it? Why do you think you should have it? And
do you deserve it?
Yeah. What are you gonna do with it? And do you deserve it?
That sounds really trippy.
It's very trippy. It almost feels like you just did acid, and he's leading you through the desert of sound.
Really?
Like it's
That
awesome.
sounds pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be facetious. Like it really is. It really is
cool.
like it's kind of tongue in cheek, but meditative and profound at
and
the
then
same time.
the last person that played that show was Penny Grun-Fay, and she's a noise artist, but like she has a really dope ass guitar that she just lays down on a table and then just fucks with it.
The technique is considered prepared guitar. The tuning is a certain way, so she can just hit it, and it's exactly what she desires the sound to be.
Okay, yeah.
And that could be, I mean, I don't know what her tuning scale is, and it's probably something she came up with. Mm-hmm. And you can just like, she'll put a metal pan on top of the strings right over the pickup, and then she'll put a vibrator inside the pan.
She uses sex toys as props. She uses sex toys as props, and then she also has like if you go to like Disney or something and they have those toys where like it lights up and goes like that.
A wand.
Yeah, she puts it near like the pickup, and it makes this weird ass. Yeah, it's weird, and it has a tempo to it.
It's almost like a tremolo kind of.
Almost,
effect.
yeah.
And there's effects on the guitar.
Yeah.
There's like a whole pedal board that the pedal board and looping elements and stuff kind of like all come together. And she'll do like field recordings where she'll ask somebody a profound question, and she usually gets a profound answer, and then she'll just play it through the pickup of the guitar. And it's very ambient and
it's really experimental.
Yeah, it's great.
It's very
Yeah.
expressive.
It sounds very like avant-garde.
It has
It
has a very cinematic quality. Like it sounds like something you would watch like you would hear it during the breakdown or like the rising drama of like a very epic movie.
Huh. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. But people who would want so the process to go about booking with us is to hit up our page. So on Facebook, if you type in Red Light Cafe, it should just be a picture of me and him. It looks like I'm yelling at him, but I'm singing at him. Mm-hmm. It's weird. I didn't post the picture. He did. He's like, I like this. I'm like, it looks like I'm bitching at you. Yeah. And then I'm like, like with a big ass smile and shit. But we usually ask people to message the page. It goes straight to our phone or our Facebook, and then like as soon as we can, we'll reply back. We always try to offer our acts whatever we can. So, exposure. We do live video clips of them on our on our Facebook feed, Instagram feed. We try to promote the show as much as possible. And we try to ask the artists as well to promote it as possible as well.
As much,
yeah. But we're trying to just, this year, especially since we moved out of a smaller space, we're trying to go bigger and beyond, especially with our artists that we're able to accommodate. We want to make sure that, they're getting treated well, or, everything's going well. So pretty much.
Yeah. So I guess the question that I'm thinking of is more of the other stuff too, of the setup and all that stuff, what goes into that,
Well, it's kind of how in college they tell you for every hour you spend in college, you're going to spend 3 hours doing homework at home. It's like that, except just, the rest of your life is encompassed by your planning and or buying new equipment and or rehearsing and or trying to make new connections and or trying to reach out to new venues, and you're doing that all while you're taking a poop, while you're
sometimes we'll be driving to either Burger King or to my mom's house, or to
it could even be to a job, to a gig, and we're setting up other gigs,
so we're never done. It takes probably almost 2 months or at least 4 weeks just for us to decently plan out a show.
Okay. So how ahead of time from the show to then?
I'd say for 4 hours live, there's probably 4 times that.
What do you mean?
In preparation.
You're saying
I'd say there's about 16 hours of we actually are talking on the phone or writing something or getting equipment or rehearsing, or the rehearsing can be
how far
endless.
In advance are you planning a show that's happening next
month? Right now we're doing it almost month to month, but we're going to get it as far that we're probably booked 6 or 8 months out. That's probably by the middle of probably by fall, we'll have enough of a momentum that we'll be 3-4 months out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're also trying to find other venues Hooch and Hive. It seems to be a better location for us, especially for such an eclectic scene that Tampa has. It's good for us to host those single, solo artist, dual rapper, live band, trio type shows.
And so far we've had consistency there.
Yeah, and I feel we would need we would need a spot in either Riverview, Brandon, Valrico area, because there's a lot of scene stuff over there,
up and coming.
But yeah, they don't have a place, because otherwise all those artists have to come to Tampa. So I want to find a venue out there that can accommodate all those people, and start a scene over there that can help encourage other venues to I need acts, I need people to come out and play.
But so far it's been kind of touch and go.
Yeah.
It's been we've booked places, got promises, and then it worked or didn't work.
Yeah.
It's not a negative thing. Finding a good fit, it's just like any other relationship, just like any other life. You don't buy the first house you look at. You don't buy the first car that's offered to you, to buy an automobile. You look around. You get at least 2 on your list before you compare and contrast and go, okay, this one worked out pretty well, this one didn't.
Yeah.
This one I would go back to and spend money there. This one I'd think twice.
And what would be some of the instances, you don't have to be specific to
response,
what venue.
Positive response, and also follow through on what we talk about, what us in a business talk about before we perform, to what we receive. And I don't mean money.
Yeah. What do you mean though exactly?
I mean crowd response.
Well, there was one at the beginning of last month where we set it up, and we thought the venue had a full system, but their system was weird and on the side of the wall.
Yeah, I remember you.
Yeah, and I was just this.
And it was during a sports event.
Yeah, so I was I just feel we're just adding more background noise to what they're trying to pay attention to. They're not solely paying attention to us. But, we still got paid that night, which I was thankful enough to be able to pay the artists, but at the same time, I was just like, man, I wish they had a better crowd that was able to pay attention to
And
them.
a lot of it was just misinformation or lack of communication, or these people were not musicians, so they didn't know what we needed, really.
Or they didn't know what to expect with us as well.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's not always a good fit, like I said.
Yeah, it was almost like setting up a date, because we met the person, and we thought everything went well when we met them, and we were looking forward to the date, and then when the date came, it's almost like being on a sinking ship and like starting to swim.
Yeah.
Like not being able to even grab a life raft. It's just like, oh, so this is how it's gonna be. All right, cool. Fucking high anxiety mode right now. Didn't end. I ended up playing Cards Against Humanity with my mom that night.
Like
that was like
the show was going on?
Yeah, that was like the only highlight, and my mom won because she.
And that's okay
God.
though, because not every place is gonna like you, and not every place you're gonna like.
Yeah.
You could be the sweetest, juiciest peach in the basket. It doesn't mean everybody likes peaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, well, that's kind of like what I'm I guess I'm trying to get to. It's different for a band because usually, it depends on if you're setting up the show, but if you're being booked somewhere, all you have to really do is show up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously try and promote the show and whatnot, but you just show up and then you leave. You don't really like have to deal with the venue itself, for example. You know what I'm saying? It's like usually the person that books. So I guess I'm kind of like trying to figure that out from your perspective.
You're saying like equipment and things.
So
like
Well, not
that.
just that though, just like the whole process of you've gone over it a little bit. Like
Yeah,
for
so-
example, being in
We
touch with the
definitely,
venue and
have a
whatnot.
setup and breakdown to a night of working anywhere. It's different everywhere.
Yeah. We have like a hashtag sign and our letters that we put out, because that's almost like our signature.
card.
Yeah. So if we always say at the beginning of the show too, like if you take any pictures or anything, use the hashtag. We have a hashtag, that way people can find us and stuff. Other than like we do that, and we do the promotions.
A lot of times we manage the equipment too.
Yeah.
And even if it's not ours, like we help set up and
Break down.
carry from the
Yeah.
car, get it all broke down or put together. If things, a lot of times we bring our own equipment as well, but we definitely, I've ran sound at Hooch and Hive. I've helped run the PA at Green Light. When we were working the bunker, we completely set up the PA.
We did the whole sound and everything.
And that's an hour before the show.
Yeah.
You have an hour of work.
Yeah.
And it's one of us are doing it while the other's working, or one of us is doing both, working and doing it. And then
So if our show starts at, let's say, 9 o'clock, we're usually at the venue by 6:30, 7 o'clock.
By 7, yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure that the artists are already there. Let's see if they've eaten or anything, and then just finalize what equipment did you bring? What do we have to give to you, or what can we see that the venue has to accommodate what you need? We're from the beginning of that day till the end of that show, we're in stress mode.
Yeah, trying to figure shit out.
Yeah, just trying to figure shit
and
out.
we don't even count everyone's different with their rehearsing time and stuff like that, but I don't even count rehearsing in it's not a variable in playing shows and stuff, but that's again countless hours, and that you're trying to perfect what you do live, and that goes into doing it as well. You don't even want to count those hours, because then just when you work and sleep and use the bathroom are the only other times you have in your life. Because the rest is you're rehearsing, you're planning for shows, you're playing the shows, and then you're setting up more shows and maintaining relationships through those.
Yeah. So I guess that you guys have kind of answered my question. So what have been some of the mishaps that you've encountered, and how did you solve them, if you did?
One thing that we've definitely learned over the past year that I think has been a good moral is, and this goes out to every musician, test your fucking equipment.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Because
you've had
Test
situations
it
where
thoroughly and vigorously, and make sure, hook it up wrong, and then figure out how to put it back together right.
Right. Oh, gosh.
Because you're gonna do it at the show, and it's not gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I've changed gear twice this year, adding the collapse to my moniker at like using the keyboard and drum machine and stuff. And then Laura has used the harmony pedal along with the loop pedal. And like
just the configuration of like figuring out what is right with my gear takes a lot of practice. Yes.
Yeah.
And like I could set it up at home perfectly, and then of course when I bring it to the venue, I'm just like, all right, set it up.
Because there's pressure,
right?
And there's a deadline to you finishing.
And then of course,
you have less of a set,
and then it never works out wrong. It never works out right.
I was talking about examples of other
musicians. Well, sometimes.
But I appreciate the person.
We've actually had like kind of a minimal, like one of those zero accidents since 2018.
Yeah, I would say like the only thing was maybe the switching from the electric to the acoustic for that one act, because they wanted to play the acoustic just once.
Gabe and Chai.
Yeah.
Gabe and Chai had they're known as Anona or Anona the band. They're kind of like a lo-fi hip hop group duo. They have one song that has an acoustic guitar. Mm-hmm. And it's just sometimes it's just not the day to bring out the acoustic guitar. That's just a fact of life.
Just pick another
That's
song.
just a fact of life. If you don't have a
play
guitar,
it on the electric.
Well, it's like if you don't have a guitar tech and you don't have like a big motherboard to plug everything in and mute it and get it ready. Don't make it elaborate. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
That's another life lesson we learned this year. Keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have an elaborate setup, keep it as simple. Reduce it as much as you can. Like have everything you want, but only everything you need.
That's right. Yeah. And I've seen that myself. Like I won't say names, and it wasn't his fault if I'm being honest. But I was with a group and they took forever to set up. Actually, this just happened recently on one of our tours where they just couldn't figure out their shit and they had a bunch of stuff. And I'm just like, it literally took them like 40 minutes to set up. And
right. That's 20 minutes of probably your set.
Yeah.
Not there. I mean, they'll cut some of theirs, but you lose some minutes too.
We didn't. It was specific. I don't want to name names.
Don't drop. Don't drop. You've built it up too much to drop it now.
Someone could just look back and fucking see the flyer I'm talking about. But anyway, the people that booked the show that we didn't book it. We just got asked to play it. They ended up having to play a shorter set.
That sucks.
But
that's their fault for they weren't prepared. And
well, no, the band that set took forever. They didn't shorten their set at all. So they made the people that booked the show, they made them like have to cut their set a little bit, which sucks.
Okay, I missed that somehow.
Yeah. But no. I got what you were thinking. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it cut into another band either way.
It did, but
that sucks.
Just
not the people.
one.
Yeah, not the people that caused the time. Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, I think at that point, you should just like maybe just set up all your things and then just let the other bands play on your equipment. Just to make the show go by faster.
Not on your equipment, but maybe in your slot.
Maybe, or I would have, if I were them, if I had done that, and for some reason we took forever to set up, I would have cut our set.
Our own set.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have cut
I don't understand the concept of people not doing that. It's like you messed up, dude. Like
you took out our time.
Like,
if you have an hour, like we get promised a 15-minute breakdown and setup. Almost always when someone talks to you and you're more than a two-piece, like they'll say you have an hour, you have 45 minutes to play or 30 minutes to play, so you have 20 or 15 minutes to set up and break down. And like when you cut into that, you cut into your playing time.
Yeah.
You don't cut into someone else's playing time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that like you don't make somebody play at 3 a.m. when the alcohol is getting cut off and the lights are getting turned on.
And someone has to go to work at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning.
And it was your bag that you did it.
Yeah.
It's different. I just did this. It wasn't really an interview. It was more like we wrote little essays and mailed them in, and then like they got published for Electronic Cottage. And they asked about like what was like one of the biggest blunders live you had. And one of these shows, we had a bass. It was my very first band. I was still in my teens. Mm-hmm. And we played this venue. and it got double booked last minute, and all these Warped Tour bands like from the local Warped Tour stage were coming to this venue, like 4 other bands, and it was supposed to be a 3-band show. Our bassist was late, so we had to improvise and do a rap set. We had a CD of rap beats we made, and we did a rap set, and then we still played 30 minutes, like when the bassist got there, and like guys were coming on stage tugging our shirts, being like, you need to get off stage. And like we stayed on stage longer and had a temper tantrum, and what I learned from that, don't do that.
Yeah, definitely don't.
Yeah, don't swing your dick around when you like are having a bad time at a show that you're playing.
Yeah.
Like if anything, apologize, be humble, and like be graceful. Don't make it all about you, and like there's other bands playing that got jilted too.
Yeah, exactly.
And like we, what was going to be a 45-minute set for us was 20 minutes, and we took an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's just like the time when I got to go on tour and stuff, and like when I went on tour with the 4 Horsemen and the other 3 bands, like pretty much the 4 bands from Tampa, and we got to, I think, Baltimore, and then there's just one like 12-piece all-girl band, and they played for maybe 40 minutes, and Samurai Shotgun didn't get to play. Yeah, and they were pissed. They were pissed. Like, I was the merch girl on the tour, so, and then I just remember Mateo coming up to me, he's like, just pack all of our shit. And I was like, what's wrong? He's like, we're not playing, so we're leaving right now.
And I've had openers play an hour after you told them play 30 minutes.
That's terrible.
And like you'll say, you got one more.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though. There was one time I was hosting at Bunker, was still Red Light Cafe. I don't know if you were with me at the time. There was, I think it was like it's like a teenage girl playing, 18 years old, playing, and then first of all, her parents showed up late. And so she was like, I just want to wait for my parents. I just want to wait for her. I was like, all right, cool. So she plays her whole entire set. And like, there's a pretty decent amount of people there, but it's like already time for us to go. Like, I was trying to get everyone to leave. And then, she's done. She played her last song. And then her dad's just like, encore, encore. And I was like, all right. So anyways, next week, you guys can come back. If you want to see her play again, she'll have to book with us again. But it's fine. You guys get home safe.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay.
And then I just put on closing time.
So you basically just shut it down.
Oh, I shut it down.
Yeah.
I had time, but I wanted to go home because I had the time to go home.
Were they mad?
Oh, you could tell that the dad was like pissed, but I was like,
and the thing is with a live performance, like a live original artist performance, it's already so much about you.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it solely about you and I'm not saying this is only a folly of teenagers. Like I've had experienced people have issues. It happens.
Yeah.
And like the thing is that we're human and we make mistakes and we let ego get into the stew that is things are going wrong at something you thought was going to go perfect in your mind. And then it doesn't.
Yeah.
And like how you react to that and how you roll with those punches defines you as someone in a functioning
society.
Yeah, in a society or a community. And like the thing is we all have to be positive to each other. We all have to be good. Yeah. We all have to be humble, even if we're really good. Even if we think we're supernovas in our mind, we still have to be humble. And there's nothing wrong with taking credit. There's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself or showing off a little. Our whole social network, and media and stuff like that is we all play show and tell every once in a while, if not all the time.
Yeah.
Besides like walking out of the bathroom and just like Snapchatting, hey, I just took a big dump. Like some people
That's
probably go that far.
That's why I don't have Snapchat anymore, ladies and gentlemen.
You're getting a lot of dump snaps.
Oh, a lot of shit emojis. And I was like, man, shit's going down.
Shit happens.
Yeah, in the toilet. Anyways.
So I guess the main reason why like I'm asking about these questions is because if there's someone out there that is looking to do something similar to you guys, it'd be helpful for them to kind of get your experience. And
to get the RLC, the full playbook though, like we're still writing it.
Yeah. But I guess like what you guys have been doing it now for, I would say, what, 3 years?
I've been doing it. I want to say since 2016. I've been doing it. Okay. And then we've gotten together since I've been probably doing it longer than that.
I'd say for me, it started with booking with Heraklion when I was in my 20s. I learned how to have relationships with venues and how to like book out of your town or how to book with another band, things like that. Very simple elements, but that was the way I started, was trying to get a monthly residency at my local bar. I think starting the way we have now, like professionally, I was a resident at a bar in Pasco, and that was in 15, 16. Like by the end of...
I think I started in like 15 or 16.
And like we've been together doing this for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
It's like a year and 9 months almost. Year and 6 months. Something
Time,
like that.
guys. Time
is an illusion.
It's on the line.
Yes, it is.
What would be your advice for a musician that you guys have booked? Like, what would you say would be the best? Like, how should they not necessarily behave themselves, but how could they prepare?
Pretend that you're going to your girlfriend's parents' house for the first time.
I'm not gonna lie.
No fucking kidding.
Yeah, honestly.
Pretend you're going to your girlfriend's parents' house, who automatically hate you when you walk in the door.
Yes, this can make or break you. So either they like you or they don't.
Be a scholar.
Yes.
Be a scholar and a gentleman.
But be humble at the same fucking time.
And like always be grateful to them. Like always say, like, hey, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you giving us this. I know you could just give this to anybody, including your friends that always, I
mean, because a gig is an opportunity, whether or not to, play for a bunch of people, to gain new fans, to gain new followers. You don't want to go in there with a big old fucking head.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to like you. Your ego is going to do the talking for you. And if your ego's huge and it fills up the whole room, and then guess what? You're going to push everyone out.
There's been plenty of like bands and stuff that we're not going to bother anymore.
And it's attitude. And it's attitude is 80% of it.
We don't like tell them, obviously. We don't go back and forth. We just don't do it anymore.
No. You shouldn't waste, honestly, you shouldn't waste your energy on shit like that. But at the same time, like he said, act like you're going to your significant other's in-laws. Like you're going to meet your in-laws for the first time ever. And how you act determines on whether or not they want you to come back, or they want you to touch their daughter, or, shit like that. Goodness.
Stage daughter.
Stage daughter.
So who's the daughter and is it the stage is the daughter?
The stage is
the daughter.
Okay, I like that. Yeah,
yes.
It's like, do you want to grace my stage?
Or man, because it could be, the other way around.
Yes, that's right. It's 2019. It can go any way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's AC/DCs. So this go both ways.
3 ways, 4 ways, front ways, back ways, sideways. The Wonkavator.
What did you just say right
there?
The
Wonkavator. Yeah,
at the end of Charlie, or slant ways, or forward ways, or top ways.
When he goes into the glass elevator and they press...
No.
God damn you.
No, I've seen it. I'm just kidding.
I bet those golden tickets make the chocolate taste terrible.
No, the golden ticket episode from The Office, though.
Yes. Legit. No,
what are these?
We could literally do a fucking entire
as soon as it's metabolized in my stomach acids.
No. What are these? Jelly beans? No, these are extraordinary jelly beans.
We could fucking do a podcast on that for days.
Just do your own director commentary, but it's just see, they should have done this.
Yeah.
That could probably be a good idea for a separate podcast, just an Office podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if we could play it though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we probably couldn't.
We could act out our favorite.
You could do. Oh no, it's not funny.
We can go reenact the fire scene right now. Just go grab.
We got two
Pam.
With a cheesy pita.
Grab Pam.
Launch her into the ceiling.
Yeah. Save Bandit, but save Pam.
That's fucking awesome.
But yeah, our advice is go to school. Join the Navy, become an accountant, and forget about the music business.
Yeah, just do acid in between hits, Yeah, in between red lights.
Whoa!
Do acid in between hits.
Yeah, hits up from a bong. Like the guy who sang the Senorita song, the Sublimes.
Basically.
The Sublimes. right?
No.
Sublimes.
No, is that like a Sublime like
The
cover band?
Subliminals. The Subliminals.
The Subliminals?
The Subliminals.
Is that, are they local?
No, I don't know. I heard about them in my dreams once.
What?
Oh, okay. So
You know.
I don't know what we're talking about.
it's a band from your imagination. Then.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Words.
That's cool. Okay.
So we've gone this whole interview and have not acknowledged the gnome on the table.
I'm sure they acknowledge them every episode.
Yeah.
Don't you?
No, we really don't. He's
he
hanging
just
out.
sits there. He's the second and the third in command, really.
He looks like
Second in command, really, Daniel?
he looks like if
Obviously,
the
I'm
Travelocity
first.
gnome was turned to stone.
Yeah, this was actually this was our first guest.
He's like, his name is Sherlock Gnomes.
But say you should turn him around and draw a butt crack.
No.
His butt, though.
No.
You can't do that. His shirt's
maybe give
covering
him like
his
a
butt.
little poop for the back.
A little
end.
poops.
He's got a little mushroom.
Little poops.
So going back to kind of like the music stuff. So where do you guys foresee the future of music going into? I ask a lot of people this question because I'm genuinely interested in what everyone has
Like the
to
music
say.
that people are currently listening to now.
Not necessarily what they're
Our
listening
careers.
to, more of like I guess basically like how we as musicians can make a career off of it. Like where do you think, like with technology and all that, how do you think that's going to be happening?
I think that we were like daring each other to say something into the mic. I think that with the progression of social media and basically that the media's in your living room now.
Mm-hmm.
Like just your life is the news now.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, like there's going to be kind of a big boom, which there has been, but I'm saying slowly but surely, like a lot of these people are going to dwindle off and lose interest that they want to be career musicians. A lot of them just wanted to do a cool cover on piano and didn't want to build it up to 1 million views. They just wanted a document of them doing it because they were proud of it. Not they want to be a career musician.
Yeah.
I think the people that want to be career musicians are actually going to kind of rise up a little slowly but surely, where like if you, and this isn't always like, looks can be deceiving. Like you could have 10,000 likes on your Facebook page. That doesn't mean I made fucking 12 pages and then I got all 1,000 people to like it.
Yeah, or just paid for it.
Or paid for it.
Exactly.
There's plenty of ways to hack the algorithm. And that doesn't mean they have 10,000 people at their shows.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a consistency between, there's a Venn diagram you need to show, am I a career musician? And the way is it, do you have a consistent amount of likes? Consistent, not retarded amount of likes. Nobody knows 10,000 people. But do you have a consistent amount of likes? Are those likes local? And do you have ones that outsource out to the country and then the world? Then, do you have people coming to your shows at all? Because some people have 1,000 likes and 0 people at their shows. Or they play birthday parties. Like, I'm not saying, and then the other thing is, do you make any money from what you do? And do you also get exposure and sell merch? There's things that lead to a hierarchy of like, are you a career musician? Do you actually get money that you can eat with? Like, do you give lessons? Do you work in a cover band? Do you make your own merch? Do you make other people's merch? Do you book other shows? Like, there's ways to make money in a scene, and making money doesn't define you as a musician. It doesn't define your talent at all. Mm-mm. There's plenty of people that are moguls in making money. Doesn't mean they're great musicians. No. They just know how to market themselves.
Or that they even have good music.
Yeah, that's all arbitrary.
It's almost like the Rebecca Black situation. Do you know who Rebecca Black is?
Yeah, the Friday, right?
Yeah, so like, she was I think 13 or 14 years old when her parents were like, you know what, we're gonna make you a music video. We're gonna pay for the money, make you a music video. They hired like a rapper, which no one's ever heard of. Mm-hmm. And they were like, yeah, we'll just put this together, you could have it. See, and I feel like everyone nowadays is trying to be a career musician.
But either so serious. You can only be so serious.
You can only take it to a certain level of serious. Like if you're investing in yourself and trying to put yourself and go into the record studio record EPs, go on tour, do all stuff like that, try to make a name for yourself, then you're trying to be a career musician.
And then also how far you are and how long you've been doing it are almost, there's like a scale.
I'm just saying, like, people who just upload videos onto, like, you know, just them in their room, just playing, you know, acoustic guitar, getting hits. Like, I don't know if you're really a career musician, but you're just doing it. For me, that would be more like a hobby.
The other thing is that becoming a career musician has become a pastime.
That's what I meant.
It's not just, oh, it's the 60s and I'm going to start a band and it's going to be remembered in 40 years. The people 40 years ago weren't planning on that. They thought the records were going to be, once they're sold, they're gone. They didn't know they're going to be on YouTube and they're going to be on a reunion tour in 2019 and etc. The other thing is that we have no idea what the repercussions of A, the internet, B, social media, C, just that like the media is completely up your ass. We don't know what the ramifications of that are going to be in 10 years. Think about like Napster 20 years ago. And think about how that dismantled and then rebirthed the music industry. And now it's the 60s again that we're making all this shit. And we're like...
And if you listen to the music now, like if you listen to lo-fi, like lo-fi
it's influenced by everything,
yeah,
too.
and it's almost like, I think it's it might be Banshee or Macintosh, some like Macintosh 420, but they take a Diana Ross song and they slow it down to a certain RPM, and you know, like that's considered lo-fi or new wave,
like
vaporwave, yeah. So like, you know, it's literally
cycling.
Like, it's cycling. Time's going backwards. Like time is repeating itself.
Like we dress like it's 1994. We listen to music like it's 1985. We have politics like it's 1964.
Almost, yeah. It's like
and then we have technology
freaking...
like it's 20, well, 25.
I totally agree with all that you're saying, because in terms of like the music that's coming out, I would definitely say that it has a hand in, the old stuff that
it's retrified.
Yeah. But I would definitely say that the actual industry itself, like the music industry, that has changed dramatically. Like
getting signed is a death sentence now.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's just not necessary.
That's what I mean. It's just you don't need them to.
Well, that's
exist.
not the goal. Like back then, it was the goal.
Well, like in the 90s, used to be like, oh man, my band just made this totally cool record, and we're gonna get signed. Little do you know, you owe them $20,000 when your record doesn't sell on Warner Brothers at Sam Goody the first month.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest change to the whole thing. It's just that what do they do now that they're obsolete? They're just...
It's all connections.
It's good for funding if you're talented and need a vehicle for how to do it.
Yeah.
It's not good if you're trying to make a namesake. Like,
well, the thing
look
is,
at Prince or look at... a lot of people that got ruined by the music industry because they changed their image last minute and then nobody liked the change. Even, you can't have your cake and eat it too. But sometimes you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, it's more of like there's a lot more people nowadays just doing it on their own, like making money, let's say, or being successful on their own. And I do see that I feel like that's just going to be the trend. And that's kind of why like doing this podcast is happening, and really, honestly,
it's a lifestyle.
There's no reason why any of us can't book wherever the fuck we want. Like with technology, it's crazy. It's fucking impressive, in my opinion.
It's very convenient too. It's not like in the 90s you had to walk up into a bar, ask who did it, get their number, get a hold of them, get a hold of them. And then talk to them and convince them to play your bar, and they're actually going to pay you money to do it.
Yeah, it's like in that sense, it's definitely a lot easier. I guess the only convenience that I would see from going to like a label or something like that is that they can facilitate all that shit for you, because it's a lot of fucking work doing it on your own.
They can print you some shirts and some posters and maybe get you a bus if you're really lucky. If you're really lucky, or get a tour organized for you.
It's their distribution too, though. I would say that's the biggest thing that they would offer. Like today,
the biggest thing is that you could find it at a Borders or a Books A Million, and that would be awesome.
Yeah, like where they would get our stuff into is something that I don't, you know what I mean? We don't have those connections, but if you do, it's, unnecessary. Again, that's why so many artists end up just opening their own label and just doing it themselves. Because it's like after you've done it for so many years, it's like you really don't need them. No. So
I would honestly take a deal if a label approached us, like, which it's never gonna happen, but if it did happen and we were able, like, I was able to at least make enough money as I'm maybe making now, like, I could do that forever. Like, as long as I'm playing, like, shows and I don't have to do any of the fucking legwork myself, like, I would take that deal.
Wait, for making exactly the same amount?
Yeah, I would say so.
That'd be good.
Yeah. You'd have to, like, ensure that I'd be opening for, like, the Foo Fighters or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, it would. No, I'm not saying literally them. I'm just saying, like, but Dave Grohl is pretty cool. But I'm saying, like, I would need security. Like, I would need ensure like, basically security that my record would sell, security that I would have the rights to my records to print vinyl.
The rights to the music.
I would need a Mars Volta, like, Tool, Radiohead type record deal and lawyer to work that out. And I wouldn't. That's the only way I'd do it, which means I probably would never do it anyway.
Because that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, but that is also the new thing too, or maybe not new, but I just know that a lot of people struggle, like, have that problem with record labels, is that they don't have the rights to their music, and, like, that's huge. You know?
The other one is you don't have the right for them to put it in a commercial that you don't agree with.
That's true, yeah.
Or like a movie you don't agree with the context of.
See, and this is why I guess I am the way I am with the way I do music, is like, if I want to, like, especially if live performances, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to be singing about, because I just make it off the top of my head, so I can't repeat it. I can't make the magic again unless I tried really, 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 really hard. So, like, the whole rights about music and stuff, like, I get it. You guys spend a lot of time, and it takes a lot of emotion to write lyrics. You know, you're trying to tell a story and convey it in a way that it gets through your music. So, like, I really do hope that, you know, shit like that changes, that, you know, artists are able to keep their music rights for like the lyrics that they contribute to their music. You know, it is yours, it's your words, it's your experiences that you're putting down, and you're expressing with everyone else, so they are yours. So they should remain yours with the fucking copyrights. But for me, it's different, because I have no connection to those words personally. You know, like, those can just go out one ear and go in and out the other ear. So, like, shit like that doesn't, you know, like, people ask me, why haven't I recorded anything? I wouldn't know what the fuck to record, because I make up songs off the top of my head for other people. So I wouldn't know what topics would be good. And, like, I record stuff for myself on my phone, but, like, I wouldn't put it out. Like, I don't know why.
But I mean, do you write songs, though?
I don't write it.
It's
down.
one hit.
I don't write it.
It's one, like, it's, you turn it on once and it works, or it doesn't, and she
if I'm pressing, if I'm playing chords and I'm like, oh, I like that chord progression, I feel like if I can come up with words within the first 8 seconds of playing those chords, then I press record.
Yeah. The thing is that I'm sure that's easier for Daniel, because he's done it a lot. It's like you know, practicing anything. You know? So, like, and also just having the patience, I guess. Like,
yeah, and I don't know. I feel like if there have been songs that I've written down, and, like, I've tried to learn them, but when it comes to playing them at a gig, I just get so fucking nervous that I fucking forget.
It's like instead of, because rehearsing a song over and over again and doing it the same facsimile over and over again, that's manuscript performing, and she's an extemporaneous performer, and it's different, and there's, he
rehearses hours and days before his performances.
But that's the only reason I'm not up there shaking.
Yeah. But me, I don't touch my instrument when I'm at home at all.
Well, that's what it is, though.
Like, at all. But I find it more enjoyable to just pick it up and, you know, whatever I'm experiencing right there and then, that's what you get.
Yeah, well,
that's raw.
If that's what you want to do, then that's fine.
It's almost like performance art, you know. I'm showing you an emotion of me and I'm expressing myself in that type of way, but I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to reenact that.
It's not meant to be reproduced. Yeah. It's meant to be, like,
in the moment.
But you can still record that, though. You can
still do
like,
a live almost like a Dimitri Martin, like, field recording. Like I could do that and then compile, like, the best ones.
Yeah, but dude, like, that's still your, like, creation, so it could still be considered copyright.
Yeah.
It's also her choice to do it or not. If she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't have to. But if she wanted to I don't know.
Thanks, baby. I appreciate the defense.
I'm tired.
We were just talking about that because I was like helping out a show at his job, and these two guys come up to me, and they were like, I was just doing wristbands pretty much, and these two guys come up to me, and like one guy, the tall guy, was like, "You got nose coming out of your hair," and I was like, "Okay, excuse you,"
Nose
and I gave him
out of your hair, or hair coming out of your nose.
Yeah. Like,
what you said the second time?
Hair coming out of your nose.
Yeah, there's hair coming out of my nose. Anyways, nose coming out of my hair. Anyways.
Right.
Who knows?
Anyways, you could smell it on me. But his short friend was like, "Man, that was really rude to say." And the tall guy was like, "Well, what? You want me to be honest with her or what?" So I just rubbed my nose and I was like, "How about that?" And he's like, "Oh, so beautiful, I can kiss you." I was like, "Well, I have a boyfriend, so can't do anything because he'll kick your ass." And he's like, "Oh, he got all defensive." He's like, "What do you mean you kick my ass?"
He pulled that whole, I really like the way you look in that dress, but it would be better if you cut your hair.
Yeah, that type of thing. And then he said something, like he was joking, and he was like, your man Greek? Because I guess they're part of a fraternity night. And I was like, yeah, he's Greek. And he's like, what kind of Greek is he? And I was like, he's Proenza. And he's like, what does that mean? And I was like, that's my last name. And he's like, oh, that makes no sense. Whatever. You don't belong in this country. Get out of here. And I was like, all right, so you go have a good night. Go have a good night.
What was this?
This was at Hooch and Hive. I think it was on
It happens.
Friday.
People get drunk and say stupid things.
This was even before he went into the establishment to get drinks.
That does not mean he was not already drunk.
Well, he should go tell his mama to go teach him some manners again, because it was very rude.
It was rude. It was rude, but things happen in the bar scene, especially if you're part of the service side of it. Like, people are rude or unruly, and you just kind of
That's why I'm glad I work on it. Like,
back.
I work behind a phone, so I don't have to like stare people in the face, because my face says it all.
Yeah.
So if I'm pissed or you're pissing me off, my face will say it. So luckily I can just be like, all right, thank you, have a good day. Thank you, have a good day. Bye bye. Hang up the phone.
Talk shit.
Oh gosh. Never before. You never think at a dentist office you'd hear the word cunt, but you do.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's literally why I get the job I got, is because I didn't feel like dealing with people. So
Yeah.
I just listen to podcasts all day. It's fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
It's true, though. That's what I do. I mean,
awesome.
I am working, but I'm also just
You're like on
listening.
autopilot, though.
Yes.
You're like, this is the way we do.
Exactly.
I've gotten so good at phone calls, though, I can get an appointment booked in like 5 minutes. So I'm very proud of myself.
Nice. Fuck
Yes,
yeah.
but Spanish people love to talk. They love to tell you their whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Racist, but yeah.
It's true. And you guys should be proud of me. I've been taking all the Spanish calls lately at my job. Yes.
Fuck yeah. How's that going?
Muy bien.
Muy bien or not muy bien?
Todo es
Poquito bien.
No, todo está bien, gracias.
Little
That's good.
good.
Good for
Sí.
you, man. But you didn't really answer the whole like why, if you like, so you don't want to make songs and be like specific things, because
Well, I don't want to go that far in a music career, honestly, because I'd rather just help others by being behind the scenes. So me personally, I wouldn't want to go on a Kid Loki tour. I wouldn't want to go on like Kid Loki plays or opens up for something like that. No, I want to be
Kid Loki opens for the Foo Fighters.
Kid Loki at Camp Loki, like shit like that.
Yeah, you want to create like a place for
Yes,
people to play.
I like helping communities, so I want to be a part that community can come to me and feel safe.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to keep pushing myself to just be a performer. If I'm meant to be a performer, I'll be one, but right now I don't feel like I should be one because I'm meant to like be behind the scenes.
She's more of a master of ceremonies than like
I'm
a
more
main
of a
act.
supporter than a
She
performer.
chooses to be.
Well, you don't. It's not also that you don't find that writing music is harder than setting up shows.
No,
right?
like I don't know. I have to be in a certain mood. Like I said, when I'm I'm at home, I don't do anything music related.
She feeds off of the jitters.
I feed off of the energy. So like if there's no energy around me and I'm like not feeling it myself, then I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
And like having some forms of depression and anxiety, I don't do anything. So when I feel energy and it motivates me, then I do it.
Yeah.
So that's the only way I'm being Kid Loki a performer. If I'm just behind the scenes chilling, then I'm Kid Loki the supporter. I'll support you no matter what. I'll help promote. I'll do all that other stuff, but I'm not gonna push myself to just go out there and do that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, I take a long time to write stuff, and I have to be in the moment. I mean, you guys have heard when I go through like a session, where where I'm writing, and that is like that's that moment of motivation, and I feel it and stuff like that. And that happens rarely. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, you hear. I'm sure you hear the drums a lot more than you hear like actual music going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And now that the neighbors have moved in, let's see if they like that.
I know.
Yeah, because now there's people there, right?
Yeah. No more Airbnb, y'all.
Fuck.
Woot woot.
That's actually like good and bad. Cause
I kind of like the Airbnb because they had a don't ask, don't tell kind of
mentality,
attitude about it.
Yeah.
Because like we never heard enough racket to call the police, but also they never asked us for sugar or
anything like
hey,
that.
can you want to come over?
Although
or
one of them
like
did
that.
ask me if I had any single friends, and I was like, "No, man, it's
And
cuffing
that-
season."
and then
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And then that guy on New Year's, if you could take him to Newport Richie.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
We're
that-
going to Newport
Talking about
Richie.
Newport?
You guys talking about?
You guys talking about Newport Richie?
You guys talk about Richie over there?
Oh my God.
Richie Rich.
Richie Rich.
Yeah,
No,
he was
bro.
Is that the
Richie
same
Rich.
motherfucker that broke the same door?
I think
Probably.
it was.
Not my door.
Dude, that door
Not
is
my
gone.
door, not my problem. That's what I
That
said.
door is like the fucking drummer from that fucking movie that they just keep losing him. What's the fucking movie?
Spinal Tap?
Oh, like the drummer explodes, and
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
drummer like
Our last
he
drummer
died in a
was-
bizarre gardening accident. Gardening accident.
It's the fucking door just keeps
The
getting
stubby Joe.
broken. Just like write a memorial for the fucking door every time.
First we were called the Originals, but then they know that there were some Originals in another town, so we became the New Originals. Then we became Spinal Tap.
Turn it to 11.
My favorite is the one-word review that for Shark Sandwich, it was just 2 words. Shit sandwich. They're like, that's not in print. That's not real. It's not real. That's why you're not supposed to read reviews.
You know, I've actually
Oh,
never,
that's another thing we learned. Don't read reviews.
have you guys gotten reviews?
We've gotten like mentions, not really like a
review.
full-on like comprehensive critique of what we do.
But you guys you haven't gotten any negative stuff, right?
No, we don't get negative press. We get just enough that it's like I said mentioned.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I guess before we close it out, is there anything else that I may have forgotten to cover in terms of? I mean, obviously we'll do like ask you guys to plug your dates and whatnot, but is there anything else that I'm forgetting here in terms of running a show and whatnot and what to expect?
Don't tear it up until the ride home.
We always said it's something that it happened after one of the performers. They had kind of a rough start, and it was one of those like as soon as they got off stage, they were kind of criticizing themselves.
Okay.
And I went up to them like almost mid. You could tell they were kind of beating themselves up a bit. And I said, hey, I gave them a big hug. I said, hey, you did an awesome job. You did a great job. Look, you know, a few speed bumps happen. Roll with the punches. You rolled with them. Don't tear it up until after the car ride home. Because usually on the car ride home is like when I had like foibles at a show, or I thought I did really great or really bad, or the crowd wasn't into it, or the crowd was awesome. You always heard it in the car ride.
Yeah.
Enjoy it until you get home. And then if you want to pick at it then. Mm-hmm. Like wait till you're with one person and pick at it. Don't pick at it in front of a dozen people.
No, yeah, it doesn't look good.
It looks like it's bad sportsmanship.
Yeah. And it doesn't. You let people in on things that they might have not noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing you really have to lose at that time is just the moment that you're in. So whether or not it goes good or bad, you know, the moment's passed. And whether or not you choose to keep that moment as a memory, then that's all on you. So if you choose to keep that as a negative thought, then that's going to be a bad memory. So you're not going to want to relive that. But if you think of the positive, as in people came out to support you, people actually sat down and listened to you, or you plugged in all your equipment right, you know, those are good wins.
You'll also calm down a little, like the juices stop flowing as heavy. Like after the hour or two after you played, you'll realize, hey, that wasn't so bad. Mm-hmm. And you might not realize it until you don't say it for like 2 or 3 hours, and then you know to the one person you came with, hey, that went really well. I felt really good about how that went, instead of I tore it up the whole show and ruined my good time. Yeah. I don't mean you ruined my good time. I mean, I ruined my good time from like, you're doing this because you love it.
Yeah.
And like, you got to remind yourself sometimes, but you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
You don't do it because you're just like selflessly looking for, you know, stardom or art or whatever reason your motive is. It's you love doing it. So love doing it.
Yeah.
Don't tear it up till after the car ride home.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I've definitely, I think that's something that I feel like I've gotten better at least getting upset about it. Like, I feel like nowadays, if I feel like we played a poor set or whatever, I've noticed that usually the crowd has no idea, first of all. So I don't. Like,
they don't know what your sheet music looks like.
Yeah.
They don't know your bars.
Yeah.
They don't know your
Like
bars.
if you said a different word in your lyrics, just like randomly.
Yeah,
because,
that I don't care about. Because
it happens.
No one can understand what I'm saying anyway. So
right, so they don't go, oh, he said this instead of that, or oh, he hit an A sharp instead of an A. You know,
I would take that as a compliment if someone knew my lyrics like that, or like he didn't fucking say that word right. I'd be fucking impressed with that, to be honest.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. You know, you're saying you know the words?
I know your fucking words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I always ask you after our shows if we played well.
I know. And I've told you.
We're testing you, actually.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
us.
yeah.
We'll mess up on
Fuck you
purpose
guys.
and see if you noticed.
Yeah.
And those are the shows I love the most. So please keep doing it.
But no, I have like gotten a little better at not beating ourselves up too much, because it also depends on how long we practice for, and obviously having Kenny in Miami, it's very hard to practice.
And putting that kind of pressure on yourself is combustible for a band.
Yeah.
Let alone a single artist, but for a band, it's a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting a lot more, I'm assuming, from the other people. So if they're not contributing in any
yourself,
type of way,
so you're
then-
not having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like now, I don't find myself getting as upset if I feel like someone else didn't, like if they didn't play like a good set or whatever, because usually like there's no need to, like if she ever feels like she plays bad, she gets on herself like crazy.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like she gets upset, and
Yeah.
same with Kenny. I mean, Emmett's the only one that probably is just like.
But y'all are all very very competitive
as well.
though.
Yeah,
And
like
you've
with
known
each
each other
other and
the longest.
yourselves.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Well, yeah, because it's exactly like that. It's like you're on a team and you messed up and then you lost.
Right.
You know,
It's-
that's like the worst feeling on earth, and I've definitely been there. And now this is, it's a team. The song sounds the way that it sounds because everyone makes the sounds that they're supposed to make, and then when that doesn't happen, it's like.
Yeah, I always tell you guys, like,
It's a bummer.
I always tell, like, you guys, especially when you guys are playing in unison, there's like this perfect tone that you get in your ears, like where everything just sounds like full and like
ring.
it's almost like a satisfying taste, but for your ears. And like when you guys get that for a show, I always tell you guys like, yo, that was your best show,
Yeah.
because that feeling stayed with me the whole entire set. And that means you guys played in unison. You guys played what you guys wanted to and supposed to. You played the arrangement the way you guys meant it to be played.
And someone could play great and not achieve that sometimes.
I was gonna say, so there's like another thing too is like when you're on stage, and you're going off of that sound, you're like, this doesn't sound right, but that's not what people are hearing at all. Like the fact that the amps aren't facing you.
Yeah, the
fact
monitor,
that
you can't hear anything
I'm
out of
barely
it.
getting vocals, so it's like I can't go based off of that, which I used to a lot. Like I expected it to sound like I'm behind my drum set and I should hear the song exactly how it's supposed to be. I should be able to hear everything.
Sometimes
so
you're
that-
going in deaf or blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually something I don't think we've brought up at all in this podcast, is that actually does happen a lot. Like, even if you're playing on a stage with monitors, for example, sometimes all you're getting in a monitor is maybe your guitar and vocals. And
Like
it's
a little chirp.
Yeah, you're not even hearing really the bass or the other guitar, and that can kind of, like, throw you off.
Yeah.
I mean, I always suggest to bands... Well, I haven't actually suggested this to any bands, because I'm sure they go through it themselves, but... I would definitely just like make sure that when you're practicing that you're focusing mainly on what you're doing, and when you guys practice as a band, just make sure that everyone is dynamically in place and not
The
doing
timing
anything
is a
crazy.
big part of that too. All
Yeah.
having the same timing, because even if you're not hearing each other, but you're on the right step,
Then it works.
you're doing fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had a band member be a step behind a whole song, and it sucks because someone notices.
yeah.
Not everybody, but someone.
Well, yeah. There's other
And
musicians.
and you
that-
notice and you try and get them on cue. Sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it won't. It just depends. Just depends if you have time to not sing and tell them, or like kind of do a, like kind of shake your head at them,
And you don't want to be that guy either, but you don't want them to play off cue either.
Yeah. Do you think that's from a lack of practice or just?
It's from lack of practice, or they can't hear. Sometimes they just can't hear, and they're following the back beat while you're following the front beat.
Yeah, that's happened to me before too.
It
where it's like I
happens.
literally can't hear any of
What
you.
I
and
used,
I'm just
what I used to
running
do
through the
at
song.
And
the
that's from
bunker
bad hearing
is like
even.
I would always mic the vocals first, and I would always have the bands play or adjust their levels that they could still hear the vocals.
And that was the litmus test for if your sound worthy for the bunker was you had to be able to match everything louder below the mic.
Yeah.
Play to the room, not to the sound, like not play
Yeah.
to your instrument.
Yeah. That's actually that's not easy to do either as a band. Like, cause like for example, when we were in there, I think with our experience, we were able to make sure that we weren't too loud. But I feel like a new band doing that, they're just blasting their shit.
There have been, I remember when we were at the bunker, there were probably like a handful of bands that they had really heavy drummers, or that they would have a really showboaty fucking guitarist that they would turn their fucking amp all the way up and you couldn't hear the vocals. And I just have to, be like, hey, I'm not going to blow my speakers just because you're going to turn your amp all the way up. If you can still hear the mic, right, exactly. If I can still hear the mic and your amp,
It's fine
then
where
you're
it is.
good. But if I can't hear the mic at all,
And we do a room test.
so
Like we check around the room, like, oh, does it sound good in the furthest corner? Does it sound good next to it? Does it sound good behind it?
Yeah.
Does it sound good outside?
yeah, we just ask the performer, like when we do a sound check, we usually ask them to play a chorus of a song. It doesn't have to be the first song that they're going to play, because no one wants to hear the first entrance of a song again.
Just literally play
Yeah, play a chorus, anything. Make up anything, just that way we can get
Rock
a
You
steady,
Like a Hurricane,
that way we can get a
anything.
steady sound, because there are people who just don't know how to check a mic.
And then they've never rehearsed anything besides what they're going to play, so they just play something that they are going to play in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that. It sucks when you have to, but sometimes you have to. Yeah. But that's still better than going in
Cold.
muddy and not knowing.
Yeah,
Like
that's
going
the
in
worst.
cold.
So.
But yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, then I guess we can close this one out. I guess the main thing to take away is to just be humble
Yeah.
and be nice, and that's
And
actually
test your equipment. of
and
course.
test your equipment.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the motto for the podcast at the end. Is
Test your equipment.
Just be nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
You-
not test your equipment.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be. A
Hey, you get what you put in, so be fucking nice, and you'll get nice things.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Like a Lamborghini.
Yeah, Lambo.
Maybe not the Lambo, but
Like a lamb.
maybe like
Can
a
I just get the
Ford.
guinea then?
Can I get?
Yeah.
Give me the guinea on the side, or I send it back.
Yeah.
What do you mean, you people?
Oh god.
Give me the gabagool.
The gabagool.
I want the spaghetti and the salad. If the spaghetti comes on top of the salad, I'll send it back.
I want the salad on top of the spaghetti.
Okay.
Oh.
Anyway.
I forget what is it?
It's all The Office.
That was the episode where he gets into he thinks it's the loan shark, but it's an
I
insurance
know,
guy.
but what is it that fucking at the end is it that Michael tells Aaron he's like if you mix up the
Oh, when he sends her to get coffee.
yeah, that's right.
I
yeah.
want a medium. If you bring me a large, I send it back. How do you return coffee? Go.
Go. End transmission.
I'll figure it
He's
out.
like, no, I'm tired.
I'm not contributing to this nonsense. So we're playing April 21st at Steep Station. 2 different sets, one at 9:05, one at 10:55. They're 15-minute sets. It's a free event in St. Pete on Central Avenue. We have Hooch and Hive RLC on April 17th with House of I. And the Nomad, and I myself, Fly Mordecai, will be opening, and I believe Kid Loki will be performing as well.
Yeah,
And then we also have second Saturday in June is going to be Green Light, Red Light, Green Light.
Yes, and I'll be playing at second Saturday Art Walk on the 13th.
Creative Play, right?
Yes.
Of April.
Of April. Yes.
And then what about Facebook? Any other social media plugs?
So if you want to book with us, please hit us up on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Red Light Cafe. It should be a picture of me and him. It looks like I'm yelling at him, like I said, but it's just me singing to him.
And you can find my music on Facebook at the hyperlink is Dalmatian Mice, but it's Fly Mordecai at Facebook, and there's only one. And then also I have the Collapse, THEE Collapse, and that's another side project. And there's multiple pages, but those are the most recent.
And then you could find the Red Light Cafe on Instagram if you go type up our hashtag RLCEBOR, or you can just find us with our name, which is _red_light_cafe, all one words.
And we will be putting all of those links in the description. So
On the bottoms.
All right.
And you can put that right in the bank.
Yeah.
All right. Later.